McLaren have been caught hiding a secret housed within their rear ring on their McLaren cars for all to see in plain sight. Having sneakily installed a system which is all about automatically opening a portion of their DRS flap on the rear rings for use on the straights, irrespective of them being in the 1 second detection zone of a car in front of them. And this could be seen in use throughout the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Now, I'm sure for all of you watching this video right now, the major implications this has on eventually where both championships end up will of course not be lost on you. It certainly helped Oscar Piastri in not only his overtaking of Charles Leclerc, but then his subsequent defence, particularly so without the use of DRS. So there is a lot to be gained from using such a system. So, having said all of this, let's get back onto that DRS trick that McLaren have deployed across both of their cars. What exactly is it all about, and what are they trying to achieve from introducing this device onto the MCL38? So this whole Mini-DRS that you could call it, or just the opening of the DRS flap, is all about improving the straight line performance of the MCL38 along the straights. And it is only in a sense, if you want to put it simply, being activated at a certain threshold, a certain load threshold. So of course, this isn't going to give them a massive boost. But when the teams are so closely, matched together in terms of pace across a lap, in terms of qualifying and race pace, but also in terms of straight line speed, this 1 to 2 mile per hour difference is going to play a key role in not only overtaking but defending against your opposition. But before we get any further into this video, if you've enjoyed the content thus far and want to be one of the first to find out about some of the secrets these F1 teams are hiding from the general public and each other, subscribe to this channel now. And I myself covered the Mercedes upgrade for the front suspension a whole 2 weeks before the Formula 1 official channel did. So subscribe now. Now let's get to the nitty gritty and the technical aspects of this. So this is all about when they reach a certain level of load on the rear ring and also the rear ring upper main plane, where the DRS and the DRS activator are all housed within the rear ring components. Now, as we all know, the DRS has to be, through the regulations, manually used with the push of a DRS button on the steering wheel when within 1 second. So that's how the DRS system works. Now, what the McLaren engineers, seemingly from my understanding, have created within their rear wing and DRS system is when they reach a certain threshold of load, and we don't know what that number is. So we're not going to talk about the number, but just going to talk about the overall designs and intentions of this device on their rear wing. When it hits a certain threshold of load, the areas across the DRS flap in which the load is being placed has been placed in a specific region and not in others. And this is the whole reason why when that load is achieved, we're getting this lifting on the bottom edges, on the bottom 2 corners on either side of the flap, that lifts up and is given the car that 1 to 3 miles per hour or kilometers an hour improvement over their rivals in the straight, regardless of them being in a 1 second detection zone. And of course they benefit from that in a sense of pure lap time across a lap over a race distance, but also when defending and attacking other cars on the long straight. So this is all to do with where the load is placed and how the team have designed this to be utilized in interacting with what is happening out on track. And for the purpose of comparisons, here's a look at the McLaren and Ferrari rear rings in that back straight on Baku. And you can see there is a visible difference between all 3 wings. Now what's interesting is no matter which of these three teams' rear rings you look at, the whole assembly of the rear ring through all three of them does have flex in it. And this is something all Formula 1 teams and outfits do have engineered into not only the rear rings but the front rings. But the major difference, and this is the one we've been talking about and discussing in this video, is about the DRS flap across all three of these rear rings. And it's the McLaren DRS flap, which is the only one which is partially being opened thanks to this clever engineering feat that the McLaren outfit have introduced onto the MCL38. And naturally this is going to give them an advantage throughout a lap and throughout all the racetracks in which they can utilize this particular smart piece of engineering. So it's a clever and ingenious idea that the team have engineered, but it is a very grey area within the rules, and this is something potentially the FIA may actually clamp down a lot harder on than that of the generalized flexing of the flaps on the front wing that we saw in Monza a couple of weeks ago now. Now, of course, it's quite actually easy to copy. So say the FIA don't ban it and don't want McLaren to do anything with it this season, teams can, if they have the remaining budget, copy this. But I don't think many teams, if any, will go down this avenue. There's bigger gains to be made from other avenues. But for McLaren in itself, getting any sort of advantage over your competition is the name of the game. So this is a very, very smart and ingenious idea where they're taking a grey area within the regulations, exploiting it to a certain degree, but potentially, of course, they could make it a lot more obvious and wider, but then that would bring even greater eyes and scrutiny onto it. But yeah, that is the whole name of the game with what happens with the rear ring and the DRS flap on the MCL38. And that is where the video is going to end. I hope you've all enjoyed it. If you have, do leave a like on the video, leave any comments, as I'm sure a lot of you will be highly intrigued by this design on the MCL38. And of course, if you're new here and have found this video through the algorithm and have enjoyed the content, do subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for all future F1 content here. Alright everyone, I will catch you all later on in the week with some more Formula 1 videos.